Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arsenal could decide to sell their underrated player if they sign £80 million Premier League star. Ben Jacobs has suggested that Arsenal could change their stance on Eddie Nketiah's future should they sign Ivan Toney. The journalist has insisted that Arsenal have no plans to sell Eddie Nketiah next month, but he feels they will only change their mind should a new striker arrive. Nketiah is yet to nail down a place in Mikel Arteta's side, with Gabriel Jesus currently the favourite option to lead the line. In truth, both players have struggled in the final third this term, with the duo managing just 8 Premier League goals between them. It led to suggestions that Arsenal could launch a move for Ivan Toney in January, with Arteta keen to bolster his options in the title race. That would surely leave Nketiah's future in doubt, despite the fact Arteta is reportedly keen to keep hold of the Hale and Academy product. And Ben Jacobs has shared a fresh update on Nketiah's future amid claims Arsenal will move for Toney. Speaking to Give Me Sport, the journalist insisted that Arsenal don't want to sell Nketiah at the moment, but their stance could change if Toney arrives at the Emirates Stadium in the near future. Here is what he said. I don't think Arsenal want to sell Nketiah. Of course, the player perspective is also important. It was especially so, for example, with Fuller and Balogun's exit, but the Arsenal forward is seen as really important. Arsenal will need depth and goals to win the Premier League and not fade like last season, and part of their stumble down the stretch was down to the injury to William Saliba and not having enough cover. I sense Arsenal will only change their view on Nketiah if they bring in another striker. It's true Tony would welcome an approach from Arsenal. Nketiah has proven to be a decent backup option for Arteta over the past 18 months. Indeed, the 24-year-old has been lauded as an underrated player at Arsenal, yet you could argue that Nketiah isn't the kind of striker who is capable of propelling Arsenal to a league title. The Englishman has also attracted interest from Brentford recently, with Arsenal keen on the £80 million rated Tony. You'd imagine that if the Gunners could pull off a move for the Bees striker, Nketiah could head out the door as a result, but it's difficult to see Arteta allowing Nketiah to leave next month, as the Spaniard will need depth towards the business end of the season. Pundit explains what Arsenal summer signing has added to his game since joining the Gunners. Garth Crooks has heaped praise onto Declan Rice for the way he has improved since joining Arsenal from West Ham United in the summer. The England international was already a hugely impressive performer during his time with the Hammers, but Crooks feels he seems to have added real leadership to his game since his arrival at the Emirates Stadium. There is no doubt Rice has been a hugely impressive performer for Arsenal so far, with no questions now about the enormous price tag the club paid for him, thought to be as high as £105 million as per BBC Sports report at the time. Rice put in another strong display for Arsenal as they earned a 1-1 draw away to Liverpool last week, and Crooks was clearly impressed with what he saw from the 24-year-old. Writing in his column for the BBC Sport, Crooks admitted that Rice has probably only improved further since leaving West Ham for Arsenal, and he could end up being key for Mikel Arteta's side in their quest to win the title. He said, Rice was impressive when he played for West Ham, but he has added a real authority to his game. It could prove to be the difference between Arsenal winning the title because of his reliability and them losing it with unpredictably and occasionally volatile Granit Xhaka. I know who I prefer. Saka says it's too early for title talk. As fans, we can talk about the title battle since it is what keeps us coming back to watch the team week after week. However, While we are engaged in a battle of words about the title race with opposition fans, the Arsenal players are not allowing the title race debate to distract them. All they can care about is winning game after game and hoping that at the end of it, they will be in a better position to win it. At least that's the sense I got after hearing what Saka had to say about the title race. Saka said on Sky Sports the following: I don't think we can talk about the title yet. It's still too early for that kind of talk. We got a point. We are still number one over Christmas, which is nice, but it's too early to talk about the championship. Last season, Arteta and the boys led the title chase for a record 248 days but fell short. I'm hoping that come 2024, they will be smarter and know what to do to sustain the race and win the crown. And the fact is, the fans are going to carry on dreaming that this is our year as long as the team keeps up their scintillating top form. Fantastic striker Arsenal want to sign as Tony alternative will now cost £60 million. Arsenal are looking for a new striker in the January window as they look to make sure they get over the line this time in the title race. The Gunners drew 1-1 with Liverpool last time out to ensure they went into Christmas on top. However, with the race to win the title so tight, there is a feeling more firepower could be needed. Arsenal are one of the main clubs being linked with Ivan Toney, but Brentford are hoping to keep their star man, and he could cost up to £100 million. Another name the Gunners have been tipped to move for is Santiago Jimenez of Feyenoord. However, it seems even he will now cost a fortune to bring in. According to a report from The Guardian this weekend, Feyenoord star Jimenez is a man in demand in England. It's claimed the striker is on the radar of Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea heading into January. But while some might have thought a move on an Eredivisie club would come far cheaper, it's now claimed he will cost around £60 million. Jimenez has been on fire for the Dutch side this season, scoring 31 goals over the course of 2023 in just the league alone. Loaded in Feyenoord as a fantastic talent, it's easy to see why Arsenal like him, but at such a price and being unproven in England, it's a risky move. There is no doubting Arsenal's need for a new striker. Gabriel Jesus continues to play well, but without delivering the goals. Beyond that, Eddie Nketiah is up and down, and some pundits have doubted whether he is the man for the job. Jimenez is certainly impressing over in Holland. If Ivan Toney isn't going to be on the market, then he might well be worth a punt for the Gunners. They have to sign someone in January. They are too close to being successful to not add up top. Jimenez then winds up being the expensive gamble who just pays off enough to get them over the line. Stuart Pierce names the reason Arsenal won't sign Ivan Toney in January. Arsenal might want to sign Ivan Toney, but former England left back Stuart Pierce has cast doubt over him as the ideal signing. Toney is being linked with a host of clubs ahead of his return to action in January. Reports have claimed that Arsenal are set to open talks over signing Toney. Tottenham are also interested in the Brentford man, while Real Madrid are known admirers as well. However, former England man Stuart Pierce has some doubts over Toney to Arsenal, particularly around his age. Speaking to the Express about Arsenal and what they need ahead of January, Pierce believes Toney's time away from the game could count against him. He said the following: the big thing is the age of Toney might come into consideration. People want value for money. He is certainly, before he was laid up, he was firing particularly well and did brilliantly for Brentford. I think he is an outstanding player, but whether what it would cost to get him out of Brentford is value for money, I don't know. Brentford will want top dollar for him, having sat with the player for the best part of 9 months without him kicking a ball. Brentford could demand around £80 million for Toney, with some reports suggesting a deal could even reach £100 million. This could be one of the biggest Januaries Arsenal have had in some time. They have proved before they are willing to be active. Signings like Trossard have arrived in the winter and done well. This year, though, they need to make sure that they make the right call in the market. Arsenal are within touching distance of being able to win the league, and a new striker gets them over the line. With Tony, Pierce does make a good point in fairness, although we feel he is more than capable of coming straight into the mix, given he has been training as well. Tony brings something to Arsenal they just lack right now. He is a presence, plays directly as a number 9, and above all else, knows how to find the net. Arsenal then might feel it's money well spent if they go big in January for the Brentford ace. Arsenal not yet put off by £87 million asking price for unbelievable striker. Arsenal are continuing to pursue potential number 9 options in January, and their search could take them towards Victor Gyökeres. There has been a handful of reports in recent weeks when it comes to Gyökeres and a return to England. As we know, Arsenal are said to be monitoring Gyökeres ahead of January. Further, Chelsea are believed to have made contact over a potential move for the Swede. Meanwhile, West Ham are also keeping their name in the race for the former Coventry striker. Gyökeres is thought to have a whopping £87 million release clause. However, according to The Guardian, that's not putting clubs like Arsenal off just yet. According to the report, the €100 million release clause in a Gyökeres contract has not put the likes of Arsenal, Milan, or Chelsea considering a January bid. For the Gunners, a new number 9 seems to be the order of the day. Ivan Toney is their main target, but he could cost even more than a Gyökeres. Mikel Arteta has watched Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah help his side to the top of the table at Christmas. However, there is a widely shared opinion around football that a new striker is needed. Gyökeres then could be a hugely expensive signing that Arsenal go for to land them that all-important title. At the end of the day, Portugal is just nowhere near the same intensity level as the Premier League. We think this would be a risk for Arsenal. Gyökeres is obviously doing really well and has been lauded as an unbelievable talent as well. However, he has only done it at the Championship, and now in Portugal. The step up in a class to not only play in the Premier League but for a title chasing team is huge. Further, the £87 million clause here just seems massive. Arsenal can shop around and probably get better. If Arsenal are going to go and pay this for Gyökeres, then they might as well spend a touch more and get Tony over the line. Arsenal lead race for €60 million star. Club accept he could leave in a January transfer window. Arsenal are reportedly the team in the strongest position for the potential transfer of Sporting Lisbon centre-back Gonzalo Inacio. The talented 22-year-old looks an exciting talent with a big future in the game, and it makes sense that the Gunners are one of a number of big names being linked with him at the moment. A report from Ebola also mentions interest from Liverpool, but they state it's Arsenal currently leading the race for the Portugal international, who has a €60 million release clause. It seems, according to the report, that there could be real potential for Arsenal to get this deal done in January, as Sporting seem resigned to the fact that they could lose their key defender in the upcoming window. This is sure to be one to watch, though some Arsenal fans might question the transfer strategy here, as Mikel Arteta already has William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Ben White, and Jakub Kivior as options at centre-back, while Takahiro Tomiyasu could probably also fill in that department if needed. Add on it Jurriën Timber. Elsewhere, Arsenal are a little light of depth in midfield due to Thomas Partey's frequent issues with injuries, while some fans will also be eager to see a new attacking player brought in, as Gabriel Jesus doesn't look like being a 20-plus goal a season player, while Gabriel Martinelli's form has also dipped a little since last season. Arsenal, Liverpool and Tottenham keen on €80 million rated winger. Juventus winger Federico Chiesa has been linked with a move away from the Italian club in recent months. A report from Tutto Juve claims that the 25-year-old winger is on the radar of Premier League clubs Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur. Apparently, an offer of around €80 million could convince the Italian club to sell the player. Chiesa has a contract with Juventus until the summer of 2025, and the Italian outfit are hoping to tie him down to an extension until 2026. The Italian international has been in impressive form this season, scoring 5 goals and picking up 2 assists across all competitions. He could prove to be a quality acquisition for clubs like Arsenal, Liverpool, and Tottenham. The Reds have Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz as the only natural wingers at the club. They could certainly use more depth in that position. The Italian would add pace, flair, and goals to the side. In addition to that, he is versatile enough to operate on either flank. Meanwhile, Arsenal have not been able to rotate like Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka due to the lack of options at the club. The arrival of Chiesa would add so much needed depth to Mikel Arteta's attack. The arrival of Chiesa would add so much needed depth to Mikel Arteta's attack. As far as Tottenham are concerned, players like Ivan Perisic and Manor Solomon are sidelined with injuries. Richarlison has been quite mediocre as well. All the three clubs could use a quality winger like Chiesa, and the 25-year-old would improve them going forward. It will be interesting to see which of the three clubs is willing to pay up. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.